Hi, so this is my review of the comics picked up this week. I know so there was a few stragglers from last time what I didn't have time to read. So let's get to it. So first up is Geiger from the Ghost Machine universe, the Unnamed Universe, through the Ghost Machine team by Jeff Johns, and the good news is Gary Frank's back on the artwork. I know a lot of people like Poe Plessy, but for me it was a real jolt stylistically. And I know they want to keep it going out monthly, but it didn't really work, especially when you saw the last few pages of Jeff Johns' artwork compared to. Come on, what's the pipes are doing some strange noises compared to what Poe Plessy was doing. So the good news is, artwork is fantastic again. But the even better news is the return of Junkyard Joe. So it looks like a lot of the Unnamed Universe books now are all like meeting at a point. They're introducing new characters who were like rumoured about ages and ages ago, back when Geiger was just a 6-issue series, I think it was, a few years back before anybody else joined the Unnamed Universe. And so you've now got in the Red Coat number 9, you've got Johnny Appleseed appearing. Oh. And there's also another character that appeared, but I can't remember the name for the life of me now. And in this one, another new character appears. So it looks like they're all heading toward, or at least this book and Redcoat are heading towards some kind of I don't know if it's crossover, but like they're coming together of different worlds and different timelines. So yeah, this is how you do it. But we'll come to god awful crossovers in a minute because there's one comic to steal Geeky Ohog, and if you're not subscribed to him, do subscribe and do watch his channel because he's really good. He's like the yin to my yang, whereas I'm very pro DC. He's very pro Marvel, though. This year he's definitely been much more DC positive than Marvel positive. But we both share a love for the Ghost Machine universe and also the Distillery books, which we'll also come to. But yeah, this is how you do it, and this is how you produce comic. Top rate writer, top rate artist, top rate inker, top rate colorist. Cardstock cover, really high quality paper. No adverts in the pages. You just got all the muff at the back, and even the adverts related to the strip. And it's only $3.99. It's perfect. 9 out of 10. Wonderful, wonderful comic. Talking of wonderful comics, another comic that never disappoints, and this cover is amazing. Written by Matthew Rosenberg. Main story is written by Matthew Rosenberg, and the main art on the main storyline is by Otto Schmidt. And this is DC vs Vampires World War V, or World War 5, issue number 6. Just building up on what they've been doing the whole storyline. This is how Blood Hunt should have been. Screw continuity, just make it in-home, self-contained, balls to wall, nobody's safe, vampire thriller. It's quite honestly, I think this is my favourite vampire comic of any company. Never mind 30 Days a Night or anything like that. This, for me, is just perfect. It's just wonderful. And even the backup strips are great. The backup strip this time is an Animal Man-centric one, written by Joey Esposito and art by Pasquale Qualano. And what I love, even with the backup strips, the art and writing is top notch. It's again another perfect comic, 9 out of 10, wonderful. If you've been sleeping on this, shame on you, because it is fantastic. Don't just go, oh, I don't like Hellfires. Fuck that. If it's a good comic, just buy it. Talking about fuck that, and if it's a good comic, just buy it. Batman Dark Patterns, number 2. That cover. I think that could be my cover of the week. I just love it. It's just so ugh. I hate anything going in eyes anyway. So this develops further. Let's just have a look at this opening page before we carry on. So it's by Dan Watters, Hayden Sherman. Hayden Sherman's artwork is amazing. What they do with layouts and panel grids. I've never seen an artist as talented for doing this. And say that they do 2 comics a month. When certain artists, ooh, let's look at the X-Men comics superstar teams, where they can't even do a few pages a month. And it's got to have one of the most creepy villains of all time. And Batman can't do anything because the villain has got all these nails embedded in him and spikes and spears and stuff. So if Batman punches him in the wrong way, he can kill him, and Batman doesn't kill. So what the hell does he do? So it develops the story from last time. I'll be very vague because I don't want to ruin it for you. Just look at the artwork and trust me, you will not be disappointed. This is quite possibly one of the best Batman stories of a long time. But saying that, this year Batman has got to be the best character in comics at the moment, because each Batman comic is fantastic. One thing I'm upset about, I thought I'd picked up all my comics, but somehow they shorted me Batman 156. Upset, but I'm not, because I'm not that keen on it. But it's better than it has been, so hopefully I'll pick it up. But yeah, so that's a by the by. Very off tangent, but yeah, 9 out of 10. Another great comic. And another great idea. Now, Marvel, for the X-Men comics, are doing in March a 9-issue series called Manhunt, I think it is. Again, I'm gonna have a Geeky Hog style whinge in a bit, but and they're doing like a whole slew of artists and all these writers teaming up. So it's all going to be disconnected and people trying to do the same storyline. It's going to be messy. And then they finish it off with a 48-page special for $6.99. Think about that. Green Lantern starting a new storyline, a big epic storyline, because they're going to launch Green Lantern Corps, which I cannot wait for. So what do? They do a one shot, $3.99 for 24 pages. And it's written by the regular series writer Jeremy Adams, who's amazing. I was the biggest Jeremy Adams hater when he did Flash. Now he's one of the best writers in comics for good, pure superhero action comics. And the art is by Riken Marion, and the art is just beautiful. Really good superhero comic art. So this is setting the stage for the new big bad, which is Sorrow, who was introduced a few issues ago, who was a jilted lover of Star Sapphire, her alter ego, whose name I forget just for the time being. But yeah, this is why I love Green Lantern when it's done right, and this is done right. And this is a great scene setting for the new storyline where it ties in both comics. I'm excited. It's a good time to be a comics fan, especially with companies like DC, Image, Distiller, who are doing really good quality comics. It's obsessing as well because Marvel need to pull the socks up. But I am going to sing the praises of one Marvel comic soon. But anyway, yeah, grab it. It gets you on board for the new storyline, and so you don't need to get the back issues of the current Green Lantern comic. And I've got a feeling this came out early in my shop. So hey, but yeah, I really enjoyed it, and I would give this an 8 out of 10. It's a really good introduction for new readers, and yeah, it's good scene setting for the new storyline, big epic storyline. So yeah, great stuff. Talk of great stuff, Philip Kennedy Johnson's finally come into his stride with the artist Javi Fernandez on Batman and Robin. I'm enjoying her run much more than Joshua Williamson's run. This feels more like Batman. Joshua Williamson's one was okay, but it was a bit cloggy, a bit sweet, saccharine. I'm not really sentimental. I know I should be, but the art in this is. The teams what have gone, all the Batman sides, like I said, are just amazing. But this is, I like the dynamic he's got between Bruce and Damian. And it doesn't feel as forced or as schmaltzy, and he's not writing Damian like a brat. It just feels very organic, and it delves deeper into this mystery of like this, almost like a spectre who's come back from 100 years ago from Gotham, who's committing all these crimes, all these murders. And the layouts are just jaw-droppingly good. Yeah, I'm struggling for words because it's just DC are becoming. I think they are. I love this story. I love Ghost Machine, but I think all around for the volume of comics they do, DC are becoming one of the best comic publishers at the moment, and the prices are quite fair as well. This is $4.99, but you do get 24 pages. Yeah, great. 9 out of 10. Now, I know some people saying, oh, there's a standing artist, but it's Walther. And before this even came out, Scott Snyder said, so I gave it again, so it's by Walther, Gabriel Walther and Scott Snyder. So normally it's, oh, for God's sake, the name escapes me. Nick Dragotta is normally the one who does the art. But Scott Snyder said, about a year ago, before he even launched this, he said when this comes out, he wants it to be... don't get old, honestly. Oh, for fuck's sake. Yeah, so Nick Dragotta, he wants Nick Dragotta's invested like Scott Snyder's. They've got a story out plotted for about 2 years worth, so it'll be longer now. And he said if people keep buying, they'll keep on doing it. But they said he laid it out so he could give Nick a chance to catch up, but also he wants to do it episodic. So I think it's like every 3 or 4 issues, there's going to be a year one or looking into the past of Batman with a guest artist, and it's top-notch artist. I mean, Walther is great. Yeah, the beat's different, but it was planned, so I've not got a problem with that. It's just when they drop guest artists for no reason, and that it puts my nose out of joint. But when I know it's planned in advance, so far in advance like this is, great. And it adds to the story because it, like I said, it's looking at the past, so that's fine because it's a different era of this version of Batman. Yeah, it's better with the proper artist, but not the proper artist, but the main artist. But it's still, the story beat is still good. It's a good look to his past, because they've only alluded a little bit before, so this goes much more deeper, and the art is beautiful again. But this is what Matt Wagner used to do with Grendel, where he'd have an artist do so many arcs, and then there'd be a little short arc with a guest artist. So if you plan it like that, fine. It's just when you just have guest artists for guest artist's sake, because the main artist is slow. That's when I have a grievance against it, but not when it's planned like this. So yeah, 9 out of 10. And another 9 out of 10. I'm giving them marks right away for this because it's a guarantee. It's from Distillery. It's book 3 of Brian Azzarello and Eduardo Rizzo's Blood Brothers Mother. This is a nigh on near perfect Western in comic format. It's brutal when it wants to be, but there's quiet beats in it as well. And the synergy between Azzarello and Rizzo is palpable. You can, because you know they've had so many years like doing 100 Bullets, Batman, and other things together. You don't get many creative teams like that where the writer and the artists are so perfectly in tune with each other, and it's so nice to see. But yeah, it's a good progression on the story. Basically, young boys seeking revenge for a tragedy that happened to them. Yeah, blah blah blah. It's $8.99. Oh gosh, it's big size. Oh, it's so expensive. Fuck that. It's high quality. It's a graphic album, and people are stupid enough to pay for a 40-page Jonathan Hickman comic for the same price. Get out of that stupid mentality. Get good quality books, and this is near peak perfect. 9.5 out of 10. Sorry, technical fault there. Tongue, lips, not a good combination. So, one which has come back out from Aftershock is Hell is a Squared Circle. This passed me by the first time. It's another one, very similar in format to the Distillery one, so oversized graphic album. And it's by Chris Condon and art by Francesco Biagini, and it's got a Franco Villa cover. So it's a wrestling noir book, and it's really good, very very good. So if you've got, it might be worth popping into your local comic shop. It looks like these will come back in stock again. And Chris Connor's a fantastic writer. He does one of my favourite comics, and I can't remember what it's called now. That Texas Blood. So, and he's also writing Green Arrow at the moment. But yeah, it's a great, gritty, noirish thriller about wrestling. So if you like wrestling as well, which I'm a recent convert to, since it got on Netflix, I thought I'll give it a look. But it's going to be crap. I hate wrestling. I love it. Absolutely love it. It's so camp, it's ridiculous. But yeah, it's fantastic. So like I said, this should be in your local comic shop again, or you can order it again. And it comes highly recommended. Give it about an 8 out of 10. This one, okay, so this is book 3 of Rafael Gramper's Batman Gargoyle of Gotham. Artwork is just stunning. Writing's good, but there's been such a long gap, I couldn't remember half of the characters, and I've introduced some new characters as well. So the art, I would give 10 out of 10. The story, I'm not going to mark because I need to read it again with the other two. So I'm going to wait until I get all of them, and then I'm going to give an overview of the whole story. I think read it all again. But yeah, it was good, but there's just I think there's about 4 months, if not more, between issues. Could even be 5 or 6 months. But yeah, it's a good book, but it's just been too long a gap. And then we have from last week, Spectrograph number 4. So this is the final one of James Tynion's the 4th, and Christian Ward's modern haunted house story. As I mentioned before, the art is beautiful. The story gets resolved, but this is like a Stephen King book where you can get really invested in characters with a Stephen King book, and you think, oh, this story is amazing, it's fantastic, and then it trips up at the end, and I feel like there's a bit of a, it didn't go out with a bang, it just kind of went I don't want to say much. I was pleased I got it, and it's a fantastic read, but it's just the reveal. It's a bit of a damp squib, the reveal, to be honest. I'm saying that out of love because I loved this book. I love the whole experience. It's been a really, really fun modern take on a ghost story. Artwork is beautiful, and I don't want to reveal stuff because I do encourage you, if you've not got it now, get when it come out in the nice hardcover collector's edition, do buy it because you'll enjoy it. It's just a bit of it's not a massive letdown, but it's could have been a better ending. That's all I'm saying. So for that reason, I'd give this issue a 7.5 out of 10, but for the whole reading experience, 9 out of 10. And then from last week, we have Savage Sword of Conan. I love that cover. And the thing that makes me happy, Jason Aaron's writing on it, but more than that, one of the original Conan artists from the 90s and 80s, is it Jeff or Greg Isherwood? Let's have a look. Yeah, that's right, Jeff Isherwood, just doubts myself there. It's great. This is a back to basics Conan. But this is a Conan in his later years, and what I love about this, with the freedom of Titan, they're not restricted by the self-imposed comics code what Marvel do. So there's a lot more freedom for nudity and violence. It's everything you want in a Conan comic, and there's a fun little short story called The Madness on the Mound, and also a really nice strip featuring Dark Agnes by Michael Downs writer and Piotr Kowalski, who did a Dark Horse series recently. Names I've forgotten about, a group of serial killers about this town which housed a lot of serial killers. But yeah, as always, fantastic, 9 out of 10. And from last week, we have Paranoid Gardens number 6. Does it wrap it up satisfactorily? No. Because I don't think it can wrap up. I don't think you want it to wrap up. It's like Twin Peaks, where you're there for the ride, for the experience, and you're not bothered. if you reach the destination, and it leaves it in such a way where it's kind of like a wrap up on it, but in a very off the wall, balls to the wall crazy ending, and it leaves it open so there can be more series, and I hope there will be with the same team. Chris Weston's best artwork in years, and I've been a big fan of his for a long time. Even back in the day when his art style was radically different, when he did something Indigo Prime for 2000 AD. Who, if you've never read that stuff, I do recommend. Well, yeah, this is Grant Morrison times 10 for weirdness, and it's wonderful. 10 out of 10 for the whole series. It's just been wonderful. It's been a blast. It's been a ride. And talking of wonderful on a ride, Aquaman #1 by Jeremy Adams. And I know some people, geeky old hog, aren't familiar with Jeremy Adams because they were a Marvel zombie, and they're now slowly being deprogrammed by these cult deprogrammers, which is really good because it shows that there is a cure for people who get brainwashed by Marvel. Praise Jesus and everything like that. But anyway, he's given a glowing review of this, and I think DC Patrol has as well. If you're not following either of their channels, do so. But obviously follow mine first. But yeah, so it's by Jeremy Adams and John Timms, who did Jonathan Kent's Superman. This is a perfect jumping. This is how you do a relaunch #1 for a character. It covers everything. It covers him action. It explains his new powers. It explains his role in Atlantis. It shows you his family setup, his family dynamic. Shows his dynamic with other superheroes. It shows him fighting kaiju, sea monsters, saving people. It covers it. Dots every base, and every point that you want in a new in an introductory comic, and it also sets the stage for the next issue, which builds on the recent All-In initiative with Darkseid and everything like that. So amazing. But the art by John Timms as well is just jaw-droppingly good, and the colorist, who is Rex Locus, big shout out. They work so well hand in hand. And what I'm finding with I don't know if it's just me, but I'm noticing that the DC artists compared to Marvel artists, they focus much more on backgrounds. I mean, look at the detail there. There's so much going on. This was not a quick read because I was studying each panel, because there's little bits going on in the background, and it's just little bits like he gets knocked into this person's house, and they ask if it's okay, and he says, decidedly not. He's like landing. He's on the floor in his toilet with his head like to one side. It's just great. But it was a beautiful comic to look at as well. And you don't get many superheroes comics like that where you stop to flick back to look at the art because you think, oh, I just missed something there, because it's just so like you're getting a big rush of sense of all your senses being overpowered with what's going on. Yeah, damn near perfect superhero comic. 9 out of 10. Wonderful start. So pleased I got it, and only $3.99. So moving on to wonderful comics, #3 of JSA. I must admit though, this I think is more for those who already had a love for JSA. I think if you've no history of JSA or Infinity Inc., you'll miss out on some of the Easter eggs and some of the nods. For me, I was just giving a little especially like the last page. It's brought back one of my favourite characters in a new version of them, and the gods have answered my dreams. This for me, this is catnip for a DC comic geek, which I've got 40 plus years of reading DC, and it's ticking so much. It was doing so many tributes to characters of past characters, and I love the art. For some people, they might view it as a bit ugly, a bit basic. Not for me. It's got a style, and I think because there's plenty of detail going in the background, and I think because they're not trying to be too fancy, you've got that nice, secure feeling that they're going to be on the comic for a long time. They're not going to have somebody just replace them every few issues because they can't keep up. I get similar vibes to what I used to get when Scott Collins came on The Flash many years ago. And Jeff Lemire, you can tell he's got such a love for these characters. I mean, this is my favourite superhero team, JSA. It always has been. I used to love it back in the 70s. I'm sure I've said this before. When the Justice League had these big crossovers with the JSA. Before, we're talking about in the late 70s, early 80s, before JSA had their own comic. So you had Earth 2 crossing over with Earth 1. So this is bringing the modern group of Infinity Inc. And the classic JSA together with a mystery, because a lot of the JSA are missing and Infinity Inc. trying to find out what's going on. And there's got so many of the classic big bads. I'm smiling now just thinking about it. I had a huge smile on my face all the way through, and I love this colour having the cover, just so eye-catching. Hawkman is the boss, he's the goat. So yeah, another 9 out of 10. I'm loving this. It's a mostly positive review, but that could change. What I'm going to do, yeah, that way. I'm going to do all my Marvel comics on the end. It could be a bit of a rant, so I'm just warning you. But I'm going to finish on a positive note with one of them. But we'll carry on with DC. So next up is all in #1 issue of the Atom Project, spin-off from the Justice League. So basically, both Atoms, Choi and Palmer, and Captain Atom, they've been tasked with locating all these powers that have been transferred to other people, just everyday people, and bringing them back and giving to the rightful owners. So it's written by Ryan Parrott and John Ridley, and the art's by Mike Perkins of Swamp Thing fame and that Batman Black Label comic he did. Art is beautiful. I love it. It reminds me a bit of Jackson Goose. It's got that kind of style, and the colouring is really, really dynamic. But I must admit, the story felt a bit slow, a bit disjointed. It's basically the treat. Poor old Captain Atom is always getting beaten on at the moment. He's become a bit like the fugitive now. So they use him to store all these people's powers in and help them transfer it to the correct people. So he's kind of like this power generator, and he's basically had enough, and he runs away, and they chase after him. So I'm intrigued enough to follow the next issue, but I think they just tried to make it a bit too convoluted with timestamps for when the story was starting, and so you had to is this present day, is this past, or whatever. So for that reason, I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. But I'm back on. I will give another try with issue 2. So yeah, it's good reading, but it's one of the weak ones from DC this week. And then one that I was pleasantly surprised with. This was a shelf pick. I didn't have it put aside. I forgot about it, to be honest. But it's by Segura, who does one of my favourite, Alex Segura, who does the Dick Tracy reboot, which I love. One of my favourite comics of the past few years. And art is by Federico Ceresa, and he's got a co-writer with him, Henry Baracus, who I've not heard of. But the art is very nice. It looks like Jacob Phillips, but with just the pencils not inking, and the colouring works really well as well. So it's a really good pulpy crime noir story. I'm definitely going to get the next one. I do feel they need to ease up a bit on the writing a bit. They're trying too much to give it a flavour of I think it's the 30s or 40s. I don't know if the time period is a bit confusing for me. I can't work out when it's meant to be. Is it meant to be the 60s? It feels like it could be anything from the 40s through to the 60s. But the art is really nice. The colouring is dynamic. The writing's good. Like I said, they just need to scale back a bit. It's all very less is more sometimes. But yeah, it's a 7 out of 10. But yeah, I do recommend, if you're looking for something to give you that Sandman Mr. Theatre kind of flavour, can't go wrong with this. And again, it's a Dynamite cardstock cover. Now on to Marvel. It's not going to be that bad, honest. Maybe. Okay, so we have the final. It's Uncanny X-Men by Simone, and hey, it's a Marvel comic, so they've got superstar artist who does half an issue. So look, let him rest for a year now and put somebody else on the rest of the issues. So with this issue, the artwork is done by Javier Garon. Fine, but it throws you out because it's a different artist again, and some of it's so cartoony. And I'm going like this. It's not that I'm skipping pages. It's all pages of adverts. It's just this. Right. This is what I'm saying. This is a Marvel comic. See what's missing? Backgrounds. They have no detail. They do not do detail. The detail is done by the colorist. So that's a negative. There's a lot of talking in it. It's a crossover that could have been done in 2 issues. It didn't need to be a crossover. It could have been done in 1 issue in either the X-Men or Uncanny X-Men. Nothing gets resolved. They realise that their emotions are being controlled by somebody, and sort of fighting like little kids. That's what it felt like. It was just 4 issues of bickering and you did that, you're better than me. And in March, there's going to be a 9-issue series called Manhunt. I'm off. I'm done. I'm fucked off with the X-Men. This was the camel that brought the recent mention of the big event in March. It's pissed me off. I've just had enough. This was awful. I like Gail Simone, but her writing was phoned in with this issue. It was weak. The art is inconsistent. On the X-Men, it's even worse. They have 2 or 3 artists on 1 issue. These are meant to be like big name books. The editorial team on the X-Men comics are a fucking joke. They just want to push out volume and fuck the quality, and that's what it feels like. They've no consideration what makes a good comic, and you're paying $4.99 for 20 story pages, if that. Very, very weak. 5 out of 10. And yeah, it's the final book in the X-Men team books, I'm guessing. So there we go. Talking about disappointments, I thought Al Ewing, he's a big name. I've read more like 2000 AD stuff what he's done, but I know it's a big deal in Marvel. I read the first collection of his Immortal 4 book and I really enjoyed it. Not really warm to Immortal Hulk. I know that's a weird thing to say because everybody swears by it. It's like the Holy Bible of Marvel Comics. But I tried Metamorpho. I didn't like that. Thought, it might just be because it's a DC book and he's doesn't normally do DC. So I'll give Venom a try. The artwork looks okay, but the more I looked at the artwork, the more I'm not really that impressed with it. It's a generic Marvel style. I do like that cover though. So it's the all new Venom. So it's by Al Ewing, and art is by Carlos Gomez. The art's okay, but they do weird stances for like interactions with people, how they talk. But the weirdest thing for me is Al Ewing's writing. The dialogue is bizarre. I thought he was meant to be this, like, him and Jonathan Hickman were like meant to be the best Marvel writers. These are the best. It's shockingly written. It can't make up its mind whether it's a serious book, whether it's a thriller, or whether it's a comedy, or whether it's a book aimed at 12-year-olds. And the pacing, I was scratching my head off the way through going, what's going on? So basically, the whole point of this comic is, I think it's either 4 or 5 people could be Venom. It's Rick Jones. You don't need to be a rocket scientist to work out, it's Rick Jones. And it's a weird, it's just so weird because they're all saying, oh, it could be one of us. What is the point of that storyline? No, it doesn't make sense. Because why did he even mention that it could be one of them? Because it's not, nobody's mentioned it. It's just suddenly they've all decided, oh yeah, it could be one of us. It's stupid. And the introduction of Mary Jane and her fella Paul is ridiculous. And yeah, it's a spoiler. He's in, and he's written weird. I just want to punch him in the face. And then we move on to book 2. And I thought, it might just be the first one, trying to cram so much in. But oh my god, this was even more busy. And there's bits that happen and I couldn't understand where it jumped from. And it's $4.99 again for 19 to 20 pages. This is again one of Marvel's main big title comics. They've got a big name writer, they've got an okay artist. It's shit. It's absolutely shit. I'll give this 2 out of 10, honestly. I'd love to make up a bullshit story so I could go to my comic shop and say, I got this by accident, but I don't want to do that to them, it's not fair. I've been robbed, basically. This has been one of the worst comic experiences I've had this year, and we've only just started 2025. But yeah, avoid like the plague. One which is... This week I decided I'm going to try some Marvel comics. I don't get paid for this, I don't get sponsored. I'm a really tiny comics YouTube channel. I thought I'm fed up of pissing all over Marvel all the time. I know the Ultimates are good, but with the Ultimates I want to get them in the collected formats because, again, they're $4.99. So I'm going to be getting those going in the collected formats. And I must have to review the collected editions. But I thought, I want to try the others, give a bit of love to some Marvel, but it's not... Marvel's not giving any love back. So we've got Magic #1. Art's fine. The art's by Gemma Peralta. Some of it's a bit... Ugh. But again, the Mighty Marvel Manor, they have no backgrounds. Everything's basic, even with quite big name artists like Gemma Peralta. But it's not that put me off. So the story's okay, but there's scenes like, where is it now? So basically, she fights these demons. She's trying to save this young female mutant. And this young lad who's helping her, his sister's a mutant, she gets killed. So that's pretty devastating, isn't it? Okay, let's see how the young lad reacts. He's talking to his grandma. He says, "It just killed Ran. We need to run." He loved his sister. Look, if you've got characters in a comic and you use them as quite major characters for a plot point, give them a bit of life. For fuck's sake, his sister's just died. Give them a bit of emotion. You know, you don't just say, "Oh, and my sister's died. Oh, what pain. Oh, are we going to be next?" And he becomes, and he says, it's just clunky. He says, "Hey, I'm coming with you. You need me. I am the one who can show you the way." Pull up second-rate Magic babbly nonsense. Artwork's okay. I wanted to love this because Magic's a cool as fuck character, but they've done her wrong. But people are going to buy it. It's going to sell by the bucket loads because she's a hot character, and I think she's in the Marvel Rivals game as well, so they're milking that for all it's worth. It's $4.99, but it is a thicker than normal. I think it's about 26 story pages, and I think it's $3.99 afterwards. It's just distinctly average. 5.5, 6 out of 10. But I said I wanted to finish on a positive note, and it's a Marvel comic. It's by Benjamin Percy and Joshua Cassara, and it's Deadpool Wolverine. I don't like Deadpool that much. Quite enjoyed his recent series, but it's crossing over, so I stopped it. But I like Benjamin Percy on Wolverine. He's a solid writer. I like the books he did with AWA, and the artwork is so nice, and the colouring as well. Got a very European sensibility to it, and it has the humour of Deadpool, but without going overboard. So it gives it's a good pairing of the interaction between Deadpool and Wolverine. He writes like I said, he knows Wolverine left as right. Benjamin Percy. I wish he was doing a new Wolverine comic, to be honest. He gets Wolverine, and this was a fun action romp. It leaves you on a cliffhanger, and I want to know more. It's brought back some classic Wolverine characters like Strife and Maverick as well. So yeah, it ticks all the 90s X-Men boxes. It's good. Even the foot cover's good. It's $4.99, but it's got to be $3.99 going forward, so that's good as well. This is what I want in a Marvel comic. If they're not going to feed my Epic Illustrated and the creative itch, what they used to do back in the 80s and 90s or Marvel Nights, at least do good mainstream ones. And this is really good mainstream comic. I'm going to give this an 8 out of 10. This is going on my pull list, so I'm pleased I picked this up. So I told you I wanted to love Marvel, so going forward, I'm stopping all my Marvel comics apart from Deadpool and Wolverine, but I might try Helverine. I'm on a quest to find. I want to get at least 3 Marvel comics that I really enjoy, so I might get Helverine because it's written by Benjamin Percy, and I like him as a writer on Marvel. So yeah, so I might pick those up next time. So that's it. Wow, I've spoken for 40 minutes. Hope that was okay. uh, I don't like doing ranty videos. I'm a nice person, honestly. Should we have my hair up? I'm a nice person, honest. So yeah, I did get some other comics. I got I'll show you. Normally I'd do another video for these, but I'll just attach them to this. So I don't know if I showed this last time. This came out just before Christmas. I got Battle Action number 4. So it's got the regular Johnny Red story, but it's got a really nice by Henry Flint strip of El Mestizo. This used to be a strip by Carlos Esquerra, so it's a really nice Western story. I've not read these yet, so I'm just giving you like a preview. I'll do a deeper dive in a separate video because I like to give a bit of love to 2000 AD. But I've got the original one as well, so I might even do a compare and contrast. So that was the original story by Alan Hebden and Carlos Esquerra. It's basically Jimi Hendrix as a cowboy. So that was out before Christmas, and then just now I picked up number 5. Wonderful cover, almost Brian Bolland like by Tom Foster. So again, Johnny Red's the main story, and then the backup is Harlem Hero, no, Def Game 1999. So it's by Tom Foster and Dan Abnett. Artwork is just beautiful. What I love about these, they're done on really, really high quality, oversized pages. So it's worth the money. Like the distillery formats and 2000D formats, so really good. So that's just something I thought I'd share. And yeah, I'll do a proper look at those after I've read them. Okay, bye.